there is major injury. If there's major injury around the vocal cords, then we actually put a tube through their nose and down through the vocal cords so they won't obstruct their airways. Minor airway injuries can be treated just with humidified oxygen and air. Some patients get to be very hoarse and have sore throats, and we just treat that symptomatically.
Some of the minor smoke injury was caused by soot particles. Patients often cough these up and no permanent lung damage results. There is some question about asbestos in the smoke. Experts have been testing air samples all through the night to answer that question for sure. Diana, Bill.
Jay, thank you very much. Well, a lot of tension at the World Trade Center, but some tension, too, at another landmark in New York City.
That's right. Another skyscraper evacuated when police received a threatening call after today's explosion. They were taking no chances as we continue our coverage of the disaster at the World Trade Center.
Driving a Volvo usually inspires a certain sense of safety. Well, now we offer an additional sensation. The Volvo 850 GLT. Car and driver on the Volvo 850 GLT. If cars were men, you'd want your daughter to marry this one.
In a world that's moving very fast, we can find balance in our days and in our diets with foods like Dannon yogurt that put back what the world takes out of us. Dannon yogurt, deliciously creamy, nutrient dense, which means in very few calories we get a lot of nutrition. Calcium, potassium, real yogurt cultures, and the sense that there's a place in each day where we can find balance. Dannon yogurt, a very healthy habit for life.
It's the way we make you feel that makes people fly British Airways, the world's favorite airline.
8 engine patents, 9 chassis patents, 4 drivetrain patents. Now you can enjoy the benefits of these and over 60 other internationally patented ideas in the Mitsubishi Diamante ES for just $1,000 down and as little as $299 a month. Never has the cost of progress been so easy to live with. The Diamante ES lease from Mitsubishi.
This was a day when authorities paid very close attention indeed to threatening phone calls.
That's right. So when a caller dialed 911 and told police that there was a bomb in the Empire State Building, authorities took it seriously and they made the decision to evacuate.
A slow but steady stream of people slowly emerged from the Empire State Building. The crank call came in shortly before 3 o'clock, and police began evacuating all 102 floors, floor by floor. At 4:30, people were still coming out the doors.
How quickly were people being told to leave the building?
Quick. It was pretty quick, actually.
We're on a conference call. Business first, then the bomb second. Right. But now we're out, so I hope there's no bomb.
The evacuation proceeded smoothly, and the last people to leave the building came out shortly before 6, while police inside continued their tedious search. While many suspected it was a prank, nobody wanted to take any chances after hearing about the explosion at the World Trade Center.
Personally, I didn't want to leave, but he made it sound serious enough that especially when he told us about the World Trade Center.
So you heeded the warning?
Yeah.
After a 4-hour search, police declared the building clear and left. A Friday workday cut short for thousands, but most grateful it was a false alarm.
And tonight things are back to normal at the Empire State Building. Police certainly now trying to track down who made the call.
Well, this was supposed to be a day of fun and adventure for a group of children from Queens.
But it was anything but that. Coming up, a group of school children learn a lesson they will never forget on their trip to the Twin Towers as we continue our coverage of the disaster at the World Trade Center.
Overseas, some phones work with pesos, some with yen, and some with lira. But the MCI card works with phones from more than 70 countries all around the world.
So I just put that on the ball bearings and that clears up the squeak? You're a genius. That's my mom.
Talk on the phone a lot when away from home? MCI introduces 2 hours of free calling card calls.
And a hair conditioner.
Call and sign up for an MCI card now.
What do they call it duct tape for, anyway?
In December, Motor Trend chose the all-new Mazda 626 ES as a best buy in sports sedans. They praised its handling, standard airbag, room for 5 real-sized humans, and sporty Luxo surroundings. I wonder what they'd say about a Mazda 626 DX for $199 a month. The $199 lease, but it's only good until March 20th, so hurry.
Her fingers went over the mold of his face. How perfect and foreign he was. How dangerous. This was the glistening, forbidden apple. She kissed him, putting her fingers over his face, his eyes, over his ears, to his neck, to know him, to gather him in by touch. Obsession for Men, Calvin Klein. Your gift with any $29.50 Obsession for Men purchase. Have Macy's.
In Arizona's Sonoran Desert lies the Scottsdale Princess, a spot the touring pros hit every year. The Scottsdale Princess, a spot so sweet. The AAA awarded it a perfect 5 diamonds. It's Scottsdale's sweet spot, the Scottsdale Princess.
Steve Davis used to be with the New York City Police Department, and he's an expert on security with the Fairfax Group now. He knows how to prepare for disaster, how to prevent it, how to find out who did it, how and why. He joins us now to talk about the disaster at the World Trade Center. Steve, it appears that this was a bomb that caused all this. How big a bomb would it have to be, and what kind of explosive was it likely that was used?
Well, based on the nature of the explosion and the obvious force involved, the crater resulting in 180 feet or so, one would think that it could be only something of the plastic explosive type. There are a number of different explosives available, but in order to cause such immense damage, C4 or Simtex is most likely the product. And it's hard to judge right now how much would have been used, but some reports are the upwards of 200 pounds might have been involved.
One of the key things that investigators are going to look at is one thing that our senior correspondent John Johnson mentioned earlier, and that is the phone call that was made about 15 minutes before the explosion. From your friends at the police department, what do you know about that call? Who was it made to, and was it a taped phone call?
Well, the facts are not exactly being released totally at this point. However, obviously, if the call came in before the explosion, that's conclusive evidence. Depending on the particular information in that call, it would be conclusive that whoever's taking credit for it is bona fide. However, if the call went into 911, it would be recorded on tape. However, if the call went into a local precinct, which we believe it did go into a local precinct, then it would not be recorded on tape.
It's going to be a difficult investigation with all the rubble in the Path train stations, and it's going to be hard to find out what happened down there.
It's going to literally entail a hand-by-hand search. Once they clear the area of the debris, clear the area of the large pieces, investigators are going to go in. They'll probably have a crew of upwards of 100 people sifting through the rubble, putting it in pails, and looking for any traces of evidence to show them what type of device was used, what type of triggering device, any accelerants. It's going to be literally a hand-by-hand search.
How would it have been detonated? What are the options?
There are a number of options available. It could be a remote control device. More likely it was a timing device. You could set a digital clock. That car could have been placed there as long as a month ago, in fact, although it's highly unlikely because of the fact that it's a public parking garage and it would have attracted some attention. But nowadays, you can set a timing device long in advance.
Right. So they might be looking for that timing device.
Right. That's going to be a big part of the search, yes.
Steve Davis, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Steve. Well, it was a very harrowing couple of hours for dozens of parents in Queens. Their children on a field trip to the World Trade Center, and no word from them or of them for a very long time. But it is a story with a very happy ending, and Steve Hartman was there for a very joyful reunion. He's here now live.
They were just going to the observation deck for a little field trip. But about a third of the way up, the elevator stopped and the ordeal began. Not only for the kids, but for the parents who had to gather here at PS 91.
First I hear they're outside waiting for the bus can't get to them. Then I hear that it's not confirmed they're out of the building, that they're in the building. Now I hear they're being escorted down the stairs.
All afternoon, parents sorted through the misinformation and waited not so patiently inside the lunchroom. No one had a clue what had happened to the kids until the bus pulled up and we all heard their amazing story.
The elevator broke down, so we had to stay there for about 6 hours.
When you were in it?
Yeah.
What did you do in there for 6 hours?
We panicked.
The kids told their parents how they were packed in like sardines, all 50 of them. 3 chaperones and 2 tourists from California in one elevator in pitch darkness.
They had cigarette lighters, and on and off they would give us light. And that's all the kids wanted, was a little bit of light. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. I want a little bit of light. Then we shut it off. And thank God that we were able to get the elevator doors open for air.
Evelyn says the group prayed, sang songs, cried some tears, but never broke down.
The children were so brave, I couldn't believe it. We had some crying jags here and there. We had a couple of kids with asthma. But all in all, they were really unbelievable.
Evelyn says to keep the kids quiet, she told them that the elevator was slowly moving down, but it wasn't moving at all. They had no communication with the outside world until the firefighter opened the doors and Evelyn gave him a great big kiss. Reporting live from Glendale, I'm Steve Hartman, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Steve. That little boy had the best line of the day. We panicked.
We panicked. Test of courage.
In addition to the World Trade disaster, another big story tonight.
Coming up, a judge decides who will run the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Will Irish eyes be smiling? We'll have the story.
And how safe is your car on the streets of New York? In a special report, our undercover cameras catch thieves turning cars into one-stop auto parts shops as we continue coverage of the disaster at the World Trade Center.
The all-new 1993 Lincoln Mark 8. 4 cams, 32 valves, 280 horses. Mark 8, together with Lincoln Town Car and Continental, make Lincoln the only domestic car line to offer dual airbags and 4-wheel ABS brakes, standard on every 93 model. And when you consider how easy it is to lease a Lincoln right now, it all adds up to this. You simply have to have it. Mark 8, Town Car, Continental, at your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Dreyfus knows opportunities have to be chosen carefully, which is why smart investors will find the Dreyfus Growth and Income Fund so appealing. Last year, the Dreyfus Growth and Income Fund grew over 20%, more than double the performance of the S&P 500. For more information and a free prospectus, call 1-800-DREYFUS. Dreyfus Growth and Income Fund. Survival of the smartest.
To find out why Light and Lively low-fat yogurt is so smooth, we asked the experts.
They got this big, huge schmoothavator. They take tons of fruit and they smoosh it and they mush it. They put bananas and strawberries and it's very complicated.
One thing is clear. Kids love the smooth, fruity taste of Light and Lively yogurt. And it's good for them. It's in fun flavors, too. The experts are speechless. Light and Lively yogurt, an early start to eating smart.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it.
It's Toyota's first big sales event of the year, and you'll get excited over the deals on tough Toyota trucks. Save up to $2,050 on our rugged 4x4. And there's even big factory incentives on 4x2s.
Oh yeah.
And see Toyota's exciting new big truck, the T100. So hurry up and get to your Toyota dealer during the first big sales event of the new year.
There are other stories in the news today, including a ruling in the St. Patrick's Day parade dispute. The Ancient Order of Hibernians has the green light to stage the parade. Federal Judge Kevin Duffy ruled that the First Amendment rights of the Hibernians would be violated if gays and lesbians were allowed to march under their own banner. The judge's decision covers only this year's parade. Bill?
President Clinton said today the nation's economy is ready now to march ahead. In a major economic address, the president said other countries should open their markets more than they do to American products. He told an audience at American University in Washington that the world's economy depends upon the recovery of American industry. He said the United States will compete, not retreat.
The truth of our age is this, and must be this: open and competitive commerce will enrich us as a nation. It spurs us to innovate. It forces us to compete. It connects us with new customers. It promotes global growth, without which no rich country can hope to grow wealthier.
He called on the industrialized nations of the world to stop working at cross purposes and get together on interest rates and economic policies.
There is calm but very little harmony in Somalia's capital of Mogadishu after 3 days of gunfire. Nigerian troops used machine guns and grenades in a firefight against sniper positions and then stormed a building and rounded up a number of suspects. 400 American troops left Somalia today, dropping U.S. strength there below 17,000. And Secretary of State Warren Christopher gave NATO allies details of plans to use American planes to drop food and supplies into hard-hit areas of Bosnia. Christopher received support from the allies, but no firm pledges of help. Italy is offering one of its bases for the operation, and NATO planes will fly in support. The humanitarian airdrop could start sometime this weekend.
You can be sure of this: several times this weekend, cars will disappear in New York City, sometimes part by part in the hands of car strippers, like the ones we showed you last night in our exclusive videotape. Tonight, in her continuing special report, Kathy Wolf tells us that many times the whole car is stolen and then stripped down. Kathy.
That is for sure. To understand how it all works, all you need is one experienced car thief. The one we met is only 30 years old, but he's already been arrested 28 times. He wanted us to disguise his identity. For the purpose of this story, his name is Tony. And tonight, he tells us why so many cars are going, gone.
At some point during the life of your car, you may need a part. Maybe you got into an accident, or perhaps some parts were stolen. Auto body shops try to supply them, and that's where Tony comes in. He's a car thief for hire.
Did you literally get orders from people who owned garages and shops for certain cars?
Yeah.
How do you find the car that they want?
You go out the street and walk up and down. You go to a shopping center, you go out to Route 4, Route 17, Route 46.
Legitimate junkyards charge top dollar for parts, so some body shops just hire the thieves.
We've locked up thieves that have actual shopping lists for cars.
Just this week, the New York City Police Department concluded a sting operation which recovered 61 cars and led to the arrest of 12 car thieves like Tony. It happened in Queens, which is the car theft capital of the world, with one car stolen every 11 minutes. The cops pretended to be operating Pat's Auto Body, and they convinced the thieves they were part of organized crime, which the cops say is responsible for at least half the car thefts in New York. Tony wouldn't talk about organized crime.
I don't know nothing about organized crime.
And if you did, you probably wouldn't tell me? Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
But he did tell us how easy and profitable it is to steal cars.
Look, man, when you go to steal a car, it don't take you no less than 5 minutes to take the car. So then the other thing is to drive the car from wherever the car's at to where he wants it. And you just drop the car off right there. So for doing that, you make $1,000 or $500 in less than an hour. You don't think that's good?
Tony says he also sold to people who ship the cars overseas, something U.S. Customs is trying to combat. Customs recently formed a task force to intercept stolen vehicles at Port Newark. But it's a tough job. Thousands of containers are shipped every week, and searching them would mean holding up export business. Tony has also stripped cars. Last night, we showed you how bold the thieves were about stripping the Dodge Daytona we left on Avenue B. Nobody touched it for 2 days, but then everything started to go, including the front seats, the interior doors, the dashboard parts, the hubcaps, and the wheels. A thief's advice: don't leave it in one place. And about those alarms, this thief says car owners don't pay attention.
When that alarm is on, I'll open up your hood and rip that alarm off. If the alarm was shut off, you say, it probably went off and, it's off now. No problem.
What about the steering column collar or the club?
I'll take the whole steering wheel off and drive it with a pair of pliers.
Drive the car with a pair of pliers?
With a pair of pliers, I'll drive the car.
What about a custom-made ignition kill switch, which will disable the car if the thief doesn't know the secret code?
Take the car with a tow truck.
What if the owner put on a wheel locking system?
You could still tow it.
You could still tow it? How could you tow it?
With a flatbed.
So what can people do to protect their cars?
Sleep in it. That's all I could advise you. Sleep in it or put it underneath the garage. Because, man, when a guy wants your car, he will take it.
Now, you may be wondering why Tony isn't in jail after his 28 arrests. He says he was never caught in the act. He was only caught in the car he stole, which brought him charges of possession of stolen property. Many times that charge results only in a probated sentence. Bill and Diana?
Thank you very much, Kathy.
Fascinating report. Thank you, Kathy. Lest we forget, the weekend is now. Sam Champion has the weather. Sam?
Several days of dry weather beginning to move in. It's a good sign. Dusting of snow for us, more snow to the south of us. Everything's over with now. Wake up to 20 degrees in the morning, 9 to 10 degrees north and west of the city. Already some sunshine peeking through clouds. It's a cold mix tomorrow as that area of low pressure is still offshore, but far enough we shouldn't have any big problems with it. High pressure still stirring some cold air around in our direction. Again, 34 degrees, the warmest we can deliver. We watch that low completely move offshore. High pressure not only to the north of us, but well off to the southwest as well. So it looks like a couple of days going with some good-looking skies out there. Know that all weekend long temperatures are very cold. AccuWeather forecast goes like this. For this weekend, better than the last couple. 20 degrees, partly cloudy, brisk and cold. AccuWeather says for tomorrow on Saturday, 34 degrees for the high, mixed skies, brisk and cold all day long. 5-day plan throughout the weekend. Good-looking sky conditions. 34, 36 degrees. Expect them for high temperatures. Monday coming close to normal with about 42.
Thank you, Sam. You're truly dedicated.
Still a great many unanswered questions in the disaster at the World Trade Center.
We're going to wrap a day that we won't soon forget when we come back.
Volvo just figured out how to lower the defense budget without threatening national security. Call for the dealer nearest you. While the new administration may offer Americans a new lease on life, we can definitely offer you a new lease on a Volvo. Call for the dealer nearest you.
Hello, my name's Dave Doe. My name is Justin Knudsen.
Mi nombre es Marina Rivera.
I provide international services for MCI. MCI Friends and Family has always been a great plan for those who are calling international destinations. That's because you can save an additional 20% on calls to one special person outside the United States. Now MCI announces even better news. Very good news.
Wonderful news.
You can now save that extra 20% on 2 international numbers. 한국 분들께서 for 20% less on 2 international numbers.
And it's free.
When I wanted a mini system, I looked at the situation logically. I wanted high tech and high power, but I didn't want high price. Logically, that said 2 things to me. Iowa and nobody beats the Whiz.
You looked at it logically? Did you know the Iowa Mini Max had a double cassette? Did you know you could change 2 CDs while one is playing? And who took you to Nobody Beats the Whiz? Yeah, you looked at it logically.
The Iowa Mini Max had nobody beats the Whiz. The logical choice in home entertainment.
Have you seen all the press Ford's been getting? The Ford Taurus is the #1 selling car in America. In fact, of the 10 best-selling vehicles in America, 5 of them are Fords. Only your Ford dealer can make this claim. I keep telling you, Ford is winning back America.
The new Ford Probe is more affordable than ever. With a red carpet lease through Ford Credit, you'll only pay $218 a month for 24 months.
Your Ford dealer is winning back America with 5 of the 10 best sellers. See your tri-state quality Ford dealer and see for yourself.
One more time, let's check in with Tim Minton for the latest on the disaster at the World Trade Center, the explosion that killed 7 and left hundreds injured. Tim is live still in Lower Manhattan. Tim?
That's right, Bill, and there is little to update at this hour except once again that the police have scheduled a news conference that we expect it to happen about 11:15 tomorrow morning. They will perhaps help to unravel the mystery of whether this was in fact a bomb, which is what the investigators now are saying, at least privately. In the meantime, at the end of a day of towering danger and drama, the most active place right now is the bar down the street where many of the victims have gone to remember or perhaps to forget. We're live in Lower Manhattan. Tim Minton, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Tim. So to recap once again, a massive explosion ripped through an underground garage at the World Trade Center. At about shortly after noon, hundreds poured out of the building in a panic. The power went out and thousands were trapped, many of them for hours. At least 7 people are dead, more than 600 people injured. And at this hour, it is believed that a bomb is responsible for the blast. Security is being tightened at local airports. Many of the survivors say they are just glad to be alive.
And finally, it's been a day we all hoped would never come. The people who know best now say it seems that a bomb caused the disaster at the World Trade Center. We had hoped and almost believed that we were somehow immune from terrorism, that for some reason the terrorists would leave us alone and do their dirty work someplace else. We still hope the people who say this was a terrorist bomb will look again and decide they're wrong. If they are right, a new kind of fear has come to our city, and that's an ugly feeling. But the city has shown again that it can meet disaster with strength and kindness and courage, and as always, that's encouraging. And that's the news from us.
That's absolutely right. We hope you'll stick with us tomorrow. Of course, we will continue to keep you updated as events unfold in this story. That's the news for
Nightline
now.
is next. For Diana Williams and all of us at Eyewitness News, I'm Bill Butel. Thank you for being with us. Have a good day tomorrow. And as Diana indicated, we'll be covering this story tomorrow, too. For now, good luck, be well, good night.
Good night.
In December, Motor Trend chose the all-new Mazda 626 ES as a best buy in sports sedans. They praised its handling, standard airbag, room for 5 real-sized humans, and sporty Luxo surroundings. I wonder what they'd say about a Mazda 626 DX for $199 a month. The $199 lease, but it's only good until March 20th, so hurry.
To start your day with all the news and information you need to know, start your morning with Eyewitness News This Morning. Get a full hour of the latest headlines and sports scores. Join Tim Fleischer, Edie Tarbox, and Art McFarland. Then stay ahead of the changing weather with Bill Evans and the exclusive AccuWeather forecast. And avoid rush hour delays with the Metro Traffic Report. News, weather, traffic, sports. For all the news you need to know to start your day, start your morning with Eyewitness News This Morning. Monday morning at 6 right here on Channel 7.
Don't think of this as a commercial for the new Lincoln Mark 8. Think of it as a highlight film. Sorry, that's as slow as it gets.
To get special lease terms on the new 32-valve, 280-horsepower Lincoln Mark 8, act fast.
There'll be victims no more. Women armed and ready, Monday at 5.
Watch out, watch out, watch out.
I was sitting in my chair, and all of a sudden I just felt an explosion. I flew out of my chair, and they just made us evacuate the building within like 15 minutes. I actually saw the walls shaking. I thought it was an earthquake or something.
It was an explosion in an underground parking garage that shook Manhattan's World Trade Center at lunchtime today. Fire, then chaos, followed the blast.
Well, first we was told to go down the wrong stairwell. Then we came back and went down the right stairwell.
That place is a death trap. Let me tell you something. There was smoke where there shouldn't be smoke.
A rising death toll and hundreds of casualties. Tonight, target the towers.
This is ABC News Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
It has been a long, hectic, and terribly chaotic day in Lower Manhattan, as you can imagine. Let's take a look at some live pictures of emergency equipment as you see.